You have to start counting.
Hot or cold?
Hi, this is the Professional Amateur Hour coming to you with another review. This week, Leo sent me a screener for Affliction, and this 2025 film was directed by BT Meza and stars Jessica Rothe, Joseph Cross, and Julianna Layne, and that's it. There's only 3 actors in this one. So what is the story of Affliction? Well, this one follows this woman, and one day she wakes up in her own bed, but has the memories of someone else. And her husband tries to convince her that the memories are because she had an accident or something, and the trauma is, resetting her mind or putting fake memories into her mind or something like that. And so they're just, dealing with that. They have a young daughter as well, and she, can't remember having the young child and stuff like that. So it's kind of an issue for her as well. But it turns out that is actually not what happened. The husband is doing something creepy. And of course, I'll try to be spoiler free, so let's just leave it at that. What creepy thing is he doing? Well, for that, you gotta watch the movie and find out. And so let's talk about this film. Well, with this one, it is a sci-fi film with whatever the husband's doing. And I gotta say, I enjoyed that element of it. It's not really like visually sci-fi. There's a lot of just kind of sci-fi plot elements that go into it. And they work. Like by the end, I was really kind of engaged with the woman and seeing how she was going to deal with this situation and what she had, up her sleeve and, what tricks she can pull against the husband and stuff. So, what is happening though, you will have to find out. I did kind of guess it as well, like pretty early on before they, reveal it to you. But there are other elements of that go into it that I didn't predict. And so with this one, it is kind of obvious once you're watching it what's going on. But with the sci-fi elements, I gotta say they are probably what I enjoyed most with this film. Also, with kind of the sci-fi elements, they use some technology, and the technology is well realized. Like they have a whole workshop with it, and so that's all really good. It's just like, why wouldn't you sell this technology? The guy seems to be keeping it secret, so that's a little bit weird and, not very smart of him. But at the same time, it's for us to see, right? So he does have, computers and, tables and, synthesizers or whatever it is. So the sci-fi elements, I gotta say, look good on screen. Like the set that they've kind of created in this barn is cool. So yeah, that also works. In addition, there is a few really cool visuals as well, and they kind of seem practical. Like there are moments where they're kind of like growing, some organic stuff, and it's got eyeballs all over it, and it's kind of like a little bit of body horror. Like it's gross to look at, but at the same time, like I couldn't look away from it. I was like, what is this thing growing there? So they are just, growing this lump of stuff, and it just looks so cool. And the way it grows over time is just an interesting thing to see. Of course, they put on, extra eyes to make it, more sci-fi or more horror or more thrilling or whatever, but it's got some cool, moments to it. Also, this movie has, decent acting as well. There's only 3 people, and one of them's a child, and even the child does a good job. So I would say that, helps you get involved. Of course, with the filming also helps there, and everything is quite, crisp and clear and well shot, I would say. Nothing is, spectacular, of course, but it's all done well enough where you know exactly what's happening. So that's also good with this one. And I think that brings me to what doesn't work with this one. Well, the thing that I think would hold people back from this one is its pacing. It is quite slowly paced, especially in that beginning where you are just getting to know the characters. And there's only 3 characters, so there's not, too much to get to. But the characters are also getting to know themselves because she has, fake memories or whatever they're calling it. So there are just like long scenes where it's her, looking at pictures and then, oh, do you remember when we did this or that? And oh, look at this picture and all of this other stuff. So there is just kind of like slice of life moments on this farm where they're watering their plants or pesticiding their plants or, just kind of doing stuff on the farm in the beginning, at least, once they do reveal it. And I think they do reveal kind of what's going on quite early, like not too early, of course, but, earlier than the halfway mark, which is kind of where you would expect it. So that is good. Like, they do kind of start to get out of this more mundane stuff. But then even then, when they are doing all the sci-fi stuff, there's long scenes of just them, walking or setting something up. And it's just kind of slow overall. So that, I think, would keep people away. Certainly, after that first half hour or during that first half hour, I was not too interested. So once they do get to the actual sci-fi stuff and the interesting stuff, you get much more involved. But it's just hard to get into, I would say. In addition to that, I'm trying to be as spoiler-free as possible. But with what's actually going on in this one, there are some elements that just kind of don't make sense. Like, they have to do something with a computer, but like the computer queue is important, and it just, I don't know, just could have been streamlined to have a better understanding for the audience. And then there are other things that just like don't make sense at all, or at least not to me. The bad guy kind of gets what he wants at one point, and so what he does is tries to do it again, which just doesn't make sense to me. Like, why would he want that twice? Is kind of weird, I would say, to want that twice, but it is, I guess, his villain plot, so he's doing it again, I guess, and it just doesn't work. It just doesn't make sense why he would want that. And yeah, just stuff like that, where if you're not really paying attention, like, you're going to have a hard time with this movie. It is one where you actually have to kind of concentrate to understand it and appreciate it the most effectively. So yeah, that is something else with this one. In addition, I would say with this one, I've kind of seen this story before. Like, this story can only happen so many ways. But Leo did send me another screener like a while ago. I think it was like called In Vitro or something. And that one has a similar plot to this one. So it is something I have seen before. So I wasn't, too impressed with that. But there are elements that are, new and has that body horror aspect to it. So it does, I think, work for more of a relaxed viewing experience, especially with the slow pace. So it is one of those things where people will enjoy it, but certainly not everyone. And so would I recommend this film? Well, I would say if you are looking for a more relaxed night, but you still want some thrills, this is a good one. It's got that, relaxed pace, but then it's got some thrills in it. So it's like chills and thrills. So if you want to, yeah, press play on this one. It's just that, first segment where they're just kind of getting to know the characters and doing more mundane things that I think will be a struggle for people. But once you get into it, it's pretty interesting. So yeah, press play if you want. And as for a rating, well, I'm going to give it the score of 4, which is totally okay, because it's an okay film to watch. And with that being said, I think that's all I wanted to say. So like and subscribe, and I'll see you next time. Peace out.